Picked the wrong week and quit sniffing glue.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to week 5 of the phone home build. And believe me, I wish I had been done with this last week, but you know, things get in the way. Currently, I am working on 4 different projects that all want to be the first thing on the top of my list, and I just don't have the ability to work on everything all at once with the same amount of intensity. But one thing I desperately want to finish this week is this guy. I had troubles with the chrome last week. It was well documented. It has sat all weekend. Now I did a little bit of touching up with the darker and the lighter on this strip with Vallejo metal paints, and those have come out very nicely. But I have also put in this stripe here. It's not engraved like the other ones are, but it is a feature that is on the filming model, that there is a stripe of lighter metallic there. So I used the metal color aluminum on that to brighten that up. This is aluminum, the center is aluminum, these are dark aluminum, but using those really brought out some more playfulness in the dome. I will tell you that all of the many coats of paint that I put on that dome did me one good favor, and that is when I turn on the lights, boom, those windows are crisp and clean like nobody's business, and that's because of all the layers of paint that is underneath it. So the goal for this week is not only to finish the painting on this, but also to do the whatever base work I'm going to get done on that, getting the landscaping done and all that. And then there's some little ETs there that need to be painted and put on the base. This is not, I'm not trying to recreate a particular scene from the movie. If anything, this might be the beginning of the movie when all of the ETs are running around the base and our hero is off wandering, looking for a flower to pick. But in order to use all of the little ETs that come with the kit, I'm making up my own base in a kind of going to play with the topography of the base so that it is I don't know exactly the makeup of the vegetation, but it's going to be fun to experiment with. Okay, work continues on a Monday afternoon, and I gotta tell you, I feel like the guy who's got like 5 plates spinning, because I've got 4 different projects going on in different parts of the house that I've got to kind of manage at the same time. But I've taken the top, the dome, the chrome dome, and I have rubbed it down with some, actually I used some of the oil stains, Vallejo oil stains, and I used the Vallejo Mecca black wash in here, and I rubbed it all down, and I'm getting this nice mottled effect on the chrome so that it's not so uniform. And then I took some turtle wax to it. I took some turtle wax and waxed it up and buffed it so that I'm getting this nice shine. And I'm learning to live with it. It's not perfect, but it is perhaps the best I can do. I've also got the rest of the body up on its top here, because I have painted the area of the hieroglyphs here with a chrome or a titanium gold, and that was best done upside down. I've got this area here where I put some tulip in to fill in that gap, and I've got to paint this gray after the tulip is finished drying, and then we'll be able to pop this thing back down on its lid. I have yet to decide how is best to attach this to that, and maybe that's something we don't need to decide today. So I'm going to sleep on it again tonight and see what we need to get done to make sure that that is happy. I am trying to learn to live with this chrome, or lack thereof, but it looks better when the whole thing is put together, trust me. Good body every morning. It is Tuesday. I am working on the phone home one again today, and even though I realized it was going to be making more work for myself, I decided to take some epoxy sculpt and basically fillet or fillet or fill in this joint right here. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me zoom it. Stupid compressor. Let me zoom in upon that. You can see this edge right here. This edge right here. If there was a nasty step edge on there before where the this bottom piece butted up against the donut in the center, and it was uneven, it was off center, it was not really all that noticeable when you put the ship on its feet. But since I had it upside down this morning and I'm painting in some details and touching up the landing gear and whatnots, that was bothering me. So I decided to go in and just take some epoxy sculpt and fill that edge in, and I can touch the paint to that a little bit later after it has dried. But I realized I was going to be asking for big trouble because the same thing is going to happen when I put the dome on the top. There is, let me zoom out, there is an even bigger ledge that happens where the dome and the donut meet, and also some gaps where the donut is not exactly flat, or not, yeah, it's not exactly flat this way. So I was looking at, that was going to be a problem, so I'm trying to head that off at the pass by fixing this ledge now. And also, I realized that I would not be able to reliably put a finish on the, well, let's zoom out even more. I would not be able to put a finish on the antenna once I have attached it to the top of the dome, because then that finish will get on top of whatever chrome appearance I have now and muck that up. So I went ahead and put a finish on that this morning, because today, well, right now I'm running out to the train store to see if I can get some materials for the base. But today I want to attach this top to the top of the dome, so won't that be fun? Okay, I've tried to get the antenna centered on the top of the dome as best as I could, and the only way I could figure out to do it, it depends on the rest of the geometry of the dome, because what I've done is I've taken a little stick here, piece of clear bendable sheet styrene, and I made a little point on the top of it. And what I've done is I've stuck that point in between these two leaves of the upper structure, and then I bring that down, and then I mark where it hits the first seam line, and then I go to the next one, and then I make sure that these three indents, these three intersections of the leaves, are all the same distance away from this top row. So logically that should center everything, but who knows? So I just made some little indicator points with a pencil where those intersections are on the dome, and I should be able to pull this out, put a little bit of glue on it, and pop it back into place. We're getting a nice reflection down the side of the domes. I may want to further re-aim those bulbs so that they're facing more downwards to get more spill, so let me do that. Good morning, folks. It's Wednesday, and we got the biggest of big things happening today. The biggest thing we can do, and that is we are going to attach the dome to the top of the ship. Now, when everything is working, it looks like that, and all is beautiful and right and happy with the world. But I have a light issue, a light leak issue here, because that is not a solid flat joint. So what's going to have to happen is I will put some epoxy around that, I will seal it down, and then I'm going to have to feed in some either JB weld or some epoxy sculpt like I did yesterday. This, by the way, is looking magnificent. I was glad I took the extra time and took care of that issue, and I think it's going to encourage me to do the same thing here. But the problem is this top donut is just not flat, square, and level. You can see the gap. Of course, having the light on makes the gap look even worse than it does, but you can see where the issue is. So gluing this down with a light blocking epoxy will be the first step, and then cleaning it up after that will be the second step. Okay, it's time for the big important work. I've got this raised up and blocked so that when I've got the glue down, all I need to do is pull out these strips and set the whole thing down. I don't want to have to try to refigure. I've got my center line marked out with my steps, of the ramp. Everything goes up straight through the center here. So what I need to do at this point is just lay down a bead of probably JB weld. I know it's messy stuff, but it also is a good, excellent light blocker. So it's going to help me with a lot of what I need to get done. So, and it dries fairly slowly, so that, or cures slowly, so that I'll have time to do any repositioning that I might need to or clean up. So let's mix up a batch. Okay, I've got a bead of the JB weld in here. It's very much like frosting a cake. And now that it is all ringed with that, I am going to set the dome down on top of it. Okay, that most important piece is down. Now, there's still a big light leak around the bottom. Not as bad as it was, but still noticeable in some spots. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this JB weld cure, come back to it in about an hour, and then after an hour I can handle it to the point where I can take either some tulip or some epoxy sculpt and just squirt it in that gap and do the light blocking. I think black tulip is going to be the weapon of choice. And you can see I'm back out here in the dining room because I am working on the base. This is the base for the ET Little Debbie Phone Home 1. And I'm just basically throwing everything at it and seeing what sticks. Got the base painted off a nice black, got the landscape paper stuck down, and I am just having fun, just like I did on the dome ecosystems for the Valley Forge. I am trying to learn those lessons and make it writ larger for this base, because it's a weird scale. This ET ship is a weird scale because it's not any of the standards. If it were smaller, then the landscaping would be easier to do. If it were larger, the landscaping would be easier to do. But it's kind of in that middle zone where a ½ an inch equals 3 foot. If you buy into the round numbers that each of the ETs with their heads extended, with their necks extended, were about 3 foot tall, and they're about yay big in the model. Model sits about, it sits about here. Anyway, so these lichens and such are too big to be, or they're too small to be clumps of trees, but they're also too big to be individual grasses. So I'm just trying to throw something down and hope that the scale will sort itself out. Well, it's getting into evening time, and this is literally the first quiet time I've had the entire day in this room, whether it was the printer running or the plotter plotting. It's just been a noisy day, but I wanted to take a second and acknowledge what I've gotten done. Outside of the base, which is in the other room, and I'll show you that in a second, I've got this guy on. This was the important work today. Got that glued in, and I've also got it tacked in with the black tulip in the light blocking, so that tomorrow I can put my whole time and attention on painting this middle of the donut. And what happens to it is it gets a gray coat, and then there's a whole bunch of streaking grime that you can see coming down from each of these 3 holes all the way around. So we're coming down to the last rows of it. But let me turn on the lights, because that's the spectacular thing. Look at that. Boom. That may be the first time you've seen the lights on the dome attached. The lights lit up on the antenna and then shining down on the dome, and then here onto the ramp. And let me reach behind here. This really is no hardship at all, but I just want to speed up the bottom row of lights. There you go. Okay, and here's the base. I showed you this a little bit earlier, but I'm continuing to throw rocks and stones and little bits of lichen and everything on it, just to see how I can foliate it. I guess you have to defoliate, you have to take it off, but foliating. Also painting the little the little ET guys, the little dudes. And I'm going to pepper them around the base a little bit as I see where they want to go. I may put one on the ramp, but the other ones I think I'm going to leave out investigating. Pulled some rocks out of the yard that I thought were particularly lovely, that I thought would look nice. We're going to let this dry overnight. I've been dousing it every once in a while with the diluted Mod Podge and alcohol treatment that I learned on the Valley Forge. And we're going to let it dry overnight and come back to it and shake it off and see what needs to be stuck down more forcefully. But it's all coming together. Good morning, kids. It's Thursday. It's the gateway to the weekend. And as you can tell by the fact that I've gone live with the camera, it means I have very little space to stand the tripod anymore. But this morning I am working on some touches on the base. I've let everything dry from yesterday, and now I'm attacking it with hot glue and putting some stones down. And just generally working on adding some little tiny trees and such, and seeing what else needs to be added. I need to actually set the ship on the stand before I get too much further, so that I can tell you what space I have left on it. I don't want to crowd the ship too much, so let me go ahead and put the ship on the base. Okay, and here you go on the base. All the lights are shining. Everything looking great. Now the only thing I think is unfortunate is the pink light is kind of diminished on the underground here, because when that is sitting on something white it reflects it nicely, but sitting on the green, that green is just absorbing that pink light. So like I said, that's kind of unfortunate, but everything else is working just a treat. I love the way these work lights are hitting some of the accents on the base, the trees and the plants and whatnot. So that's going to be great when I put the little ET guys out here working on it. But the only thing I want to do now, well, there's a lot of things, but one of the things I need to do is I need to touch the edge of this paper where you can still see it. I can hit that with a little bit of maybe black paint to make that edge of paper disappear. I kind of like the spilling over the side here. That doesn't bother me at all. I think I'd actually like to play that up a little bit more. Like, I particularly like how that's what's happening there. But yeah. Okay, so today's job is to repaint this gray donut area, and to sand down all of these fibers, and to put the oil drips and everything in, because there are some noticeable drips. There's some black scorching underneath this lip here, and then there's like oil run down or griming running down there. Let me show you my references for that. Here's the thing it took me a while to notice. If I put a finger over it, you can see it a lot easier. See that glow right above my finger? That is not a light leak. That is reflected light from this white LED. That, if I close that up, you can see that's completely covered there. It's just, that's the light shining up, and it kind of makes it look like a light leak, but it's not. Okay, here's the filming model again, and you can see what I'm talking about as far as these smoke areas or splotched areas, and then what looks like grime running down from both the red lights on the sides and the center light. So I'll be recreating that in all around all of the lights. Let me see if I've got any other example of it. Yeah, here you go. This is another take on the same. You can see these lights pretty evenly. I mean, the center ones drop down all the way through the center and then down and over the hieroglyph lane. So that's just going to be me having fun with running grime, and then do some little smudges here. But the nice thing about this center ring is that you get that mottled look to it. That means you don't have to try to make it clean and pristine, and you've got some oil dripping underneath all of the recesses where the lamps come out, some of it on the lamps themselves, but mostly along that top edge. So we're going to have some fun with the griming. It's going to make up for the fact that my chrome isn't as clean as I might have liked it to be. Okay, I'm ready to move on to the main staining, the main spills here. And I've run across this thing. This is what I call the main spill. And then they have smaller spills below the red lights. But we're running into these black patches here. And the thing is, they're just there. They don't have any cause. And I always like if I'm going to see like a grease spill or a bit of grime or something, to have a cause. And they're just kind of there. Now, they're not laser hits. That's the only thing that really wouldn't have a cause. I mean, it wouldn't have a source, is what I'm saying. These have a source. It starts here and it runs down, or this starts here and it runs down. Even below here, you can see where the grime is running down. These just kind of start in the middle of nowhere. And so what I've done is I've sprayed on just like a NATO black, just a circle, and then I'll go in with a black and do some sharp lines in there. But what I don't like about them is they don't seem to have any source. They're just plastered on the front for the sake of it. So I'm going to try maybe to ball it up under that rim. So like maybe there's a duct or something that's leaking under the rim to cause that. It just works with my mindset better than it being a smudge in the middle of nowhere, particularly because they are so they're so patterned. I mean, there's one on either side of us. There's one there, one there, one there, one there. They're systematic. So to me, it's almost like there should be some sort of spillway or duct or vent that grime is coming out of. Now here you can see the same area on the actual kit, and this is what I'm talking about. I just put like an airbrushed little zots right there, and now I'm going to draw in something with darker lines that gives me more of a reason for all of those to be there. But the main grease is going to come straight down from there, and it's going to do something like that. And I'm just going to follow that on the other 8 holes. There's 9 of everything on this ship, so there's 9 of these, and there's 18 of these, so the other 8 of those are going to get the similar griming. Okay, we're putting in the grease streaks in the grime. I think that looks okay. A little bit of spotchiness. You don't want to spend too much time on this. You can kind of get lost in the weeds. So I want to take a break from it. This is Thursday. I'm thinking tomorrow is going to be the final day on this build. So I think we're going to be finishing right on time. Good morning. It's Friday. It's the last work day of the week. And with any luck, it'll be the last work day on this kit completely. Now, I am going in this morning and having some fun, adding some detail, like some, let me see if I can throw a light on here. I'm adding some extra wiring to the landing gear welds just to junk them up a bit, just to add some extra bonus interest. And then I will put a wash over them to make them look like they're appropriate. But I like how that looks. I want to go ahead and do the other 2. Everything's kind of dark, so it's tough to see, but what happens when you put the lights on is it throws a lot more interesting shadows that way. I've got the smudging and the scoring done from yesterday. Kind of like how that looks. Trying to make sure it doesn't look too patterned, too universal. This is accurate. This is actually on the filming model. I kind of threw it in the back. So, you know, if I didn't like it, I didn't have to stare at it all the time. But Some of these drips that come down from the lamps actually went all the way down through here and came down through to the landing gear. So I have to decide how much of that I really want to do, because I don't want to junk the ship up too much. Most of the time you see it, you're going to see it without the lights on, so I don't want it to look too distressed. But yeah, I'm going to throw in the rest of the landing gear, the wiring in the landing gear, and then I'm going to start adding these little guys. I don't know exactly where on the base they're going to be. I thought of putting one up in the doorway there, but they're a little, just a fraction too large for that, so I'm going to have to see if that's something I'm going to end up wanting to do. If not, I'll at least put one on the ramp. Okay, everything's starting to come together now. I have got the ship in the other room and it is drying, where I've touched up the paint. Touched up the paint on the wiring. I just put in the wheel wells. I've got a little bit more to go on that and it's almost ready to go. What I'm going to do now is I still need to touch up the edge of this paper. I think I mentioned that the other day. I need to touch up the edge of this paper on this base. So now that I have all of my foliage in and I can see what still needs to be covered, I can go ahead and do that. And I've just pulled out the old latex paint here that I've painted the base with. And I'm going to take my little, I guess it's a 3/4 inch brush, and just dab along the edge. Alrighty, that took about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but I was able to go around and get rid of everything that, well, see, like right in here you would have seen that white edge where the paper was. We're going to let that paint dry, and then we are, I think the next thing to do is to figure out where the little dudes are going to be. Alrighty, we're out here in the dining room for the last bits of work that need to get done. And I gotta tell you, the reason we're out here is because you can see how far back I have to get the camera to make this actually work. What we have is the base that we're happy with. I did that black touch up this morning. It looks much better. And we've got Shay's ship here. And basically what we're doing is we are trying to remember where our feet are supposed to go. There we go. Oops. Is that right? Let me see. Let me back that up. Now I have to tell you, I'm going to do some sort of, you know, autopsy after this is all over. But when it comes to what is the most valuable player, the MVP of this build, it was not a paint, it was not a brush, it was not, it wasn't anything but this. Having a turntable. The turntable here was the most valuable piece of equipment I have on this entire build. Something that, especially when I was building these lamps and I needed to set up a jig, or when I was just trying to do any sort of painting in a row, having this thing on a turntable was the best move I ever did. Now, I gotta tell you, I am not wild about how this is sitting. Let me see if there are any changes I can do. Pop this off. I should have mapped the feet out better before I let's go ahead and get this one out of the way before I sat this thing down. Okay, that's where I had the front. Let's see what happens if I move this to the front. Does it sit any better that way? No, it doesn't. See, here's the thing. It's got 3 feet. So you'd say, okay, foot, foot, foot. But it's also got the ramp. So let me see. If I would do that, I might have to move some stuff out of the way to make this fit. Okay, so there's back foot. Okay, well, it's just going to end up sitting. I didn't want to smoosh the foot into that. Okay, so here we go. picking this up this way. Yeah, I just didn't clear out enough room for the feet. Okay, I think we have a winner. I think we have a wiener. As Oscar said to Meyer, I think we have a wiener. I might have to clean a little bit of this out where this foot here is sitting. Okay, I think I found a good compromise, a good landing spot where all of the features are given their due and nothing is too crippled up with see, here's the thing. I want to see a lamp shine down on that rock. So I think I need to move everything about a ½ inch that way. There you go. That's it. There you go. Okay, now I'm happy with that. Let's hook up the wire. Let's hook up the power and turn on the lights. Okay, the power is on. Let's hit the magic button. Ba-boom. Yes, we have a lamp on the rock. Beautiful. We got a light here. We got a light down that little tree. The lights are all doing their thing. The jack comes out of the back here. It doesn't hit anything. I may want to glue that down or stick it down some. Well, you know, I've got the no, because I want to be able to take that plug out. That's the whole reason why it's a plug and not hardwired. Okay, so we've got there, speed that bottom one up. Okay, so what I need to do now is just to portion out the little dudes. And there you go. See, I've got all the little buggers settled down. Now, I wanted to put one of them on the ramp, but the top part of the ramp is too steep, and it doesn't show off their faces very well. So, and I didn't want to have him going back up the ramp, showing you his backside. That's just rude. So I've got all the little guys facing out. This guy way back here. Got one in the rock pile up here towards the front. If I can find it. No, it's actually, there he is. He's looking at some rocks. Got another little dude back there underneath the engines, getting a tan, I guess. And we try to take it all in. It's, I mean, granted, pretty much there's your view. If you discount all of the stuff that happens above the chrome line there. It's a tall ship. All I ask is a tall ship. Pay no attention to the Baby Yoda in the background. That's a project for another day. But there you go. E.T. ready to go home. 5 weeks in the making. And there you go. We're going to set it on the table for one last shot. You see the little goobers hanging around the base. But 5 weeks in the making. But we are finally finished with the Phone Home 1. Chrome battles notwithstanding, this was a lot of fun. Now, a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of itching and scratching, but still a lot of fun. There you go. Try to settle. And like I said, the most valuable player was this turntable. The MVP of this build was the turntable. And all the way up to the top. Now, you may not have seen these guys. These were the last little goobers that I, oops. These little shift knobs are the last details to go on. There you go. Not bad for a ham-fisted goon. I like the general look of distrust on this guy's face. I'm turning my back on the whole thing. But yeah, there you go. They said it couldn't be done. Oops. They said I wouldn't live to see the day. But it's finished. And yes, I'm still trying to find out a better place to put the camera, since I got this thing and it's taking up the space where the camera used to sit at the end of the week. But that's going to do it for the big ET Phone Home 1 Little Debbie build. You may have noticed, yes, I got my hair cut this week. I feel human again. Strange how little things like that can brighten your day. But that's going to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed this build series, pitfalls and all. Hope the next thing we do will be as much fun for you as this build was for me. I know I'm going to love it because it's a return to the Final Frontier. So also, just on the horizon here, I don't know how many of you people can guess what this is. Might recognize it. But that's also coming up in the near future. So, on that mysterious note, I will say, be good. Be good to each other. Take care of yourself. Wear the mask. And we'll see you here next week.
Be good. Be good. I taught him that too.